Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Stadium Rant proudly presents to you the most electrifying wrestling show in the world. We are your hosts, the Bake Show, Shake and Bake, the Nard Dog, Bernard Green, and the Professor Nicholas Mulick. This is Ringside Rant. And, we just got some unfortunate news before we went live. I got a lot to talk about tonight. You saw the title. Maybe you didn't. Brand Supremacy is on the docket. But that's later. Right now, we got to talk about a passing or coming to pass soon here of a legend. It's been reported that Afa Anoa'i is passing away shortly. It's not quite clear whether he has already passed away or if it's just really not looking good and they're kind of preparing for the worst. Either way, it looks like it's short time or the legend has already passed. And, we just want to take a little bit of time to talk about the legend. Half of the Wild Samoans, his brother, Sika, just passed a couple of months ago. Really rough time for the Anoa'i family, including The Rock, Roman Reigns, Nia Jax is included, Jimmy J, Solo, all those guys, the entire bloodline. It affects all of them, and this is a lot. This was two of the eldest members that were still living in that family, and if you know anything about Samoan culture, elders are really held in high regard. So that hits the family really hard, and he had a long life. It's sad, definitely, but also celebrate. He had a really long life, and I said it before the show. His family's the backbone of professional wrestling. It really is, and he's a large part of that, along with the High Chief Peter Maivia, him and his brother Sika. I mean, without them, we don't get The Rock, we don't get some of the greatest superstars, we don't get Roman Reigns. Yeah, and there's a lot of guys that know a lot more about him than I do. I just have much respect and love and condolences to the Anoa'i family and everything you're going through. I know it's horrible. Bernard, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. By the way, I just got to run errands, and then I just saw the notification that of Alpha, and the first thing I thought of was Roman. He just not long put his dad to rest. Now all of a sudden he's looking to put his uncle to rest. But I will agree with you 100% what you just said about the Wild Samoans. Without High Chief Peter Maivia, without the Wild Samoans, um, and even without I think Tamina's dad, I forget Tamina's dad name, Jimmy Snooker, Superfly Jimmy
Yeah,
Snooker. Without them, there wouldn't be no Roman Reigns, no Rock, no Umaga, no Uso, no Nia, Tamina. Um, I just want to say to Roman, if he's watching, Nia, everybody that's in the Samoan family, The Rock, I acknowledge all of you guys, all of you, every last one of you. Y'all culture and the way y'all wrestle, y'all represents, toughness, grit, um, power, everything. And I'm just in awe of the whole bloodline. And I just want to say, rest in peace to the to Alpha Anoa'i. My condolences to the Anoa'i family, and I keep y'all in my prayers.
Nicholas, man, you're up to bat, man. I know you had a little bit of a story about Alpha, and we had planned later in the show for the professor to have a little story time, break it down for you, give you a little bit of a lecture. He's more entertaining than your average professor, I promise. But Nicholas, I know you're a longtime wrestling fan. Probably not even probably, way more about wrestling than I do. You got to talk to me about Alpha and what he means to wrestling.
Yeah, so before I go on, I just want to read the post that Samu just posted about it.
Hmm.
He said, "As we embark on your final journey home, we express our heartfelt gratitude for the unwavering love and guidance that you have bestowed upon us throughout our lives. We find solace in knowing that you will soon be reunited with the Lord Jesus, your parents, siblings, friends
Yeah.
who have gone before us. We have no doubt that you will establish a Wild Samoan training center in the sky, bringing us all together once again. We believe in the power of your love and legacy, and we will continue to honor it in all that we do. Respectfully yours, Big Sam Anoa'i, the oldest cousin of the Bloodline clan. That is the post that was seen. Dave Meltzer just tweeted that Appa is gone, so it's uh,
Damn, man.
it's devastating. It really is. My thoughts and prayers go out to the Anoa'i family, everyone, Roman. God, that dude, him and the Usos are really going through it. Rikishi too. He
Mm-hmm.
close with the Wild Samoans. Uh, the
Don't
crazy
forget
thing too
Yokozuna.
and Yokozuna. I forgot about Yokozuna. The thing too is, and I mean, I kind of knew this was coming because he did own a promotion. It's called the WXW. Uh, he had to step down due to obviously health issues now. But when you step down, it's either that you've either sold the company, you're, retiring, leaving the business in general, or health issue, or you're going to pass it on. And I knew like he wasn't going to sell. He was going to likely pass it on. He wasn't going to retire because he kept doing this at the age of 80. And I knew his health issues were prominent. And I feel my thoughts go out to everyone in WXW wrestling because I know there were a lot of people there who were close to the Anoa'i family,
Yeah.
those behind the scenes. But the Wild Samoans are one of the most important factions. They were basically like the most over team back in the day, and they were very, very loyal to Vince. The reason why you see the Samoans pushed as highly as they are is because of the loyalty that the Wild Samoans
Yeah.
have been with Vince. And I got a story for you guys that I always think of when it comes to the Wild Samoans. This was during the steroid trial when it was looking like Vince was going to go to prison for all the steroid distribution. And they didn't mention this in the Dark Side of the Ring episode, which I did watch, and I strongly recommend it. And when I was watching and doing my research for it, I figured out that in the trial, the Wild Samoans were there. They always traveled with Vince. They always
Mhm.
were around him. They were his protection. Even him and Gorilla Monsoon were the protection for Vince. And during the trial, when they were reading the verdict, I believe it was either Alpha or Sika who mouthed to the jury, "Not guilty," and the judge basically went after them saying, "Do not do that," or something like that. They were that loyal to Vince that they were willing to put themselves in a bad spot to protect him. And I even say what you want about Vince, this one's really gonna hurt him knowing how he loved the Wild Samoans. He loves that family.
Yeah.
It's just, man, this is gonna really this sucks. It really does.
Yeah.
And my thoughts and prayers go out to the entire Anoa'i family. And yeah, that's my story about the Wild Samoans during the trial. I could go on, but
Hmm.
I just thought that was the better story to tell because it shows how awesome they are with Vince and how badass they are that they're willing to go the level to protect the business. But yeah, my thoughts and prayers go out to the family. Uh, rest in peace, Alpha. Man, I'm still surprised that this came a few months after Sika. It sucks losing family, and to lose another one not a few months later, just
Yeah.
it breaks your heart.
Yeah. It's not, you know, I mean, it's never pleasant having to deal with that type of stuff, especially when you feel like maybe, just maybe, you're starting to get not over, but start to feel okay about Sika passing away. You start to come to terms with that, I think is maybe the better way to say that. And things maybe start to feel a little bit normal. Life starts to get back to in the swing of things. Roman just came back to the ring, and then, his uncle dies right after his father died 2 months ago. That's a lot. He was very close with his uncle as well. They weren't just brothers; they were twins. If you don't know, twins are a lot closer typically than just regular brothers. They do everything together. So yeah, it's really tough. We're not going to spend the whole show.
One
on
last thing I
Alpha,
want to
but
mention too, because I did see a message of someone saying his family is saying that he has not passed away. From Samu, he basically said like he's getting close to that spot.
yeah,
So it's not looking good for him. Yeah, it really really sucks. And although he's not gone yet, it's really not looking good from the reports we've gotten. And with yeah, he has been very sick. He's like I said, he stepped down a few months ago, and while he's not fully gone yet, with Dave Meltzer and everyone else, I think Ringside News just also posted something about Alpha. It's just he's not fully gone yet, but it's likely going to be happening, and it just really sucks. It really does. I'm sorry, I just had to mention that.
yeah. No, yeah, it is tough. And that is the truth. We did mention that right at the very beginning. I know a lot of people are just kind of coming in here. That's fine. Appreciate you guys stopping by, chatting NFL Draft Diamonds. Appreciate you. But yeah, we mentioned that beginning. There's a little bit back and forth. Meltzer said basically he was gone, and then the family's like, "Well, no, not exactly yet, but they're preparing for the moment that it happens." Basically, it's just not if, it's more when. So we're paying our respects either way. But listen, there's a lot of wrestling to talk about still, guys. Not to switch it up, rest in peace, rest in power to the king, the absolute legend, game changer, trailblazer, Alpha Anoa'i. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about brand supremacy, gentlemen. That is the name of the game, the title of the show, what we're going after here. Okay, SmackDown versus Raw. Let's start on SmackDown because that was a little bit later. And then at the end of the show, we can kind of give our takes on what we think has been better as of late. Let's specifically say since WrestleMania, because there's been a few roster changes that I think have been really important one way or another. Anyway, gentlemen, nothing really happened too much Friday night, to be honest with you. If you didn't watch it, it's okay. DIY beat Pretty Deadly to advance in the tag team title tournament. I'm upset about that. I like Pretty Deadly. Nobody else really cares. Good for DIY. Other than that, there wasn't too much going on. Jade Cargill lost due to interference, and then Naomi showed up, and that was cool, I guess. I think they're just letting Bianca have fun at this point while they're getting Jade Cargill's feet wet, because I think we've seen some moments where she's not fully ready. I think the potential's there, but so on. The news from Friday night, which wasn't really news. We all knew it was going to happen. The OTC, the real tribal chief, came back, assaulted, beat the hell out of the new bloodline who sucks. Tongaloa can't even hold a damn championship, right? Get this man off television if you're going to have him hold a belt. Make him hold it right. I mean, goodness sake. But anyway, Roman cleared house, but he walked away with the family title. Doesn't mean too much in WWE, but the Ulafala in that family, that's basically like a championship. That's the leader of the family. That is a very important thing. Sika placed that on Roman at Hell in a Cell after he made Jay quit back in 2020. That's how deep that thing runs. Umaga wore it back in 2009 when he was the only Samoan running around. It runs really deep. So that is not just a necklace, guys. It's not just some beads. That's really important. And that is probably, respect to Cody Rhodes, the most coveted thing in SmackDown right now. Because Roman wants that more than he wants the Universal title. And he's made that very, very clear. Gentlemen, I started with Bernard last time. Professor, what are your thoughts?
I thought the last few episodes were really good. I think what's going on SmackDown, the last week SmackDown was pretty good, but Raw was really intriguing. More on a little bit of the mediocre side of Raw this week, but I feel like it was still a solid episode.
Yeah,
by the
we
way,
can
By the way, Dave Meltzer just tweeted, I got an update on this, and I want to keep everyone updated on the Alpha situation. This just got tweeted. He has corrected that Alpha is not died yet, but he is battling whatever he is dealing with. But like I said, this is just breaking, like we said earlier. We didn't know 100% if it's on and off reporting, but Dave Meltzer is saying like he's battling, but still, it's just whatever he's going through is rough. But I don't know. We don't know what's going on there, but I just wanted to throw that out, that Dave Meltzer has tweeted out that he's not died yet, but he's battling whatever he's dealing with. So
yeah, so we're rolling on SmackDown. We're gonna get to Raw a little later.
I'm back on SmackDown. I mean, it's gonna be super interesting. Yeah, I just said, "Heyo."
You know, it's just new people coming in are just gonna keep saying.
Like I said with SmackDown, I'm interested to see, like with Jacob Fatu, how they're gonna reintroduce him with whatever this is, whether it's his injury, whether it's this is all kayfabe. It's just, I don't know what's going to happen with Jacob Fatu, and I guess that intrigue is the thing that I am always drawn upon SmackDown. And with this upcoming SmackDown, I think we're gonna get I hope we get an update on Jacob Fatu. I really do. I really do hope we get something on Jacob, because I could care less. I could care less about Solo Sikoa. I'm done. I'm about at that point where I'm done with him.
I had my meltdown last week. I'm right there with you, brother. Bernard, how do you feel about what JC has dubbed? Not him. I've seen it all over the internet. It's absolutely hilarious. The Team U bloodline.
Like I said, man, I agree with one of my followers on Twitter, well, X now, Pat Pitts, when he said the bloodline story is the best story in wrestling, in all of wrestling right now. Especially where everything is going on right now, with the passing of the Wild Samoan and all. So just popped in my head just now, what's going to happen with the story being that they're both gone? It's like they're going to play into that, more in the bloodline story. And also, as far as with the Ulafala is concerned, like you said, Shake, Roman Reigns want that more than the WWE Championship right now. Because let's face, like I said back in 2020, his father placed that, Ulafala on, around his neck as approval. Like, you're the head guy of the family now. You're the head of the table, tribal chief. You're the face of the company. May as well say you're the face of the planet. Roman Reigns wants that more than anything. And to see Solo Sikoa prancing around with it as he's the tribal chief, and Rich he ain't done nothing but like won a few matches and lost nearly 40 of them again. Like I said, it's to me, if I was Roman Reigns, that's the disrespect to the family. I'm the one that put this company on my back. I'm the one that was champion for over 1,300 days. So like I said, we'll see how it plays out. Especially coming up to War Games and Bad Blood.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how all of that plays out.
I have one question, though. Are you guys a little intrigued with Tama Tonga? Because I caught this in my notes when he was grabbing the Ulafala. He was staring at it.
Yeah, I did notice that.
And guess who did that previously? Solo Sikoa.
Yeah.
Long-term booking. And this could lead to something interesting with Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa. They planted a little seed, so that's going to be something interesting.
I mean, and Triple H said it. Last quick note: you can't ignore anything. It all means something somewhere down the line eventually. So that's a good note, and I caught it too. Absolutely, pay attention to stuff like that. Little things matter. I think superstars act now more than they ever have, and not in a bad way. I think they focus more on their characters than I think they ever have, which is awesome. It makes for better television. But anyway, I guess there wasn't too much else on SmackDown really. Andrade lost his #1 contendership match because he got screwed by Carmelo Hayes. I'm a big fan of this, and I talked about it with Drew McIntyre, and CM Punk. I am a big fan of making storylines relevant without championships. Carmelo Hayes, a super hot up-and-comer. And Andrade, a guy coming back, trying to get his feet back underneath him. Super talented, just hasn't hit the ground running since he's come back yet. Let's be honest. Money in the Bank, those two stole that match. In my opinion, they were absolutely phenomenal. And now the fact that that's continuing months later, and because Carmelo Hayes is honestly jealous at the fact that Andrade can ball just as well as he can, is now screwing him out of opportunities. So now they're going to have a meaningful feud. Will it end in a pay-per-view? I don't know. There's only so many slots with Triple H. But I thought that was really interesting. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but yet again, U.S. title. I mean, they had someone screw someone out of a U.S. title contendership, not even the championship. They screwed someone out of a chance to get there. That makes it that much more important in my mind, and I think that's well done U.S. title.
Well, that U.S. title has been improved upon the moment they put it on LA Knight, because that title was wasted for so long. And I like how they're slowly building to the next contender, and they're not rushing it. Because LA Knight, the build getting to the title is great, but I like how they're taking it slow with his reign. So it'll be interesting to see where they go in the next direction here with LA Knight. I mean, I don't know where they go from here, because it's like so many options. But if they want to save Chad Gable, I would love to see a Chad Gable and LA Knight match. That's just me. Like, if you wanted to maybe hold that off until later, because Chad Gable, I mean, he needs really badly to do something, because they butchered him. And I don't know if they do some sort of trade where they send over the LA Knight to if they send LA Knight over to Monday Night Raw, but Chad Gable needs to do something, because I'm getting to that point where I'm like at the point where he was at with short, like when he was in the Shorty G gimmick, where I could not care less. I'm done with you. I'm getting close to there with Chad Gable, because right now I think he just had a match with the Alpha Academy, which was garbage. I hated that match. And I love pairing him with the Creed brothers, but Ivy Nile is with them, which is great. But like, they need to do something with these guys. Yeah. And I would love it if they did some sort of big trade where like they send the Creed brothers and Chad Gable and maybe Ivy Nile to SmackDown. But that's just me. But we'll see where they go from here.
Yeah, Bernard, how you feeling about the Andrade and Carmelo Hayes rivalry?
Like you said, I'm loving it. I agree with you too. And also, another fan said the same thing too on their show, where they like storytelling and compelling storylines without the championship.
Yep.
And not trying to go off topic too much, but I guess that's probably why people dislike Charlotte Flair so much. Because when she comes back, like you said, Nicholas, she's going after the title. Whether Nia
Charlotte
has it,
in the bank, baby. That's like
yeah, but I love it. So I think I saw earlier with it being advertised there's going to be getting a Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade 3 tomorrow night on SmackDown. And like I said, I'm up for it. I'm up for it. Monday Night Raw, it was a bit like you said, mediocre instead of the two things I like, which is, well, obviously, the Damian Priest, Liv, Rhea, Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio, that storyline, and Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, that storyline. I like those like the only two things that I like, from Raw. Other than that, that's all I have. And also too, I like NXT as well. Obafemi, hey, another dominant victory. I don't know if anybody can stop that, man. Roxanne Perez, I may not like her, her as the heel character, or but they call it project for a reason. Every woman Ava puts in front of her, she gets the job done. And so I like how NXT, they're doing good for themselves. But this Carmella Hayes and Andrade storyline is pretty awesome. I like it.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but man, how good is Obafemi, dude? I rewatched NXT a few hours ago. For as little experience as he's had and how great he is in the ring, the sky is the limit with this dude.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing you have to worry about with guys that size is staying healthy. And if he can do
Right.
that, I mean, my God, I couldn't agree with both of you more. And let's just go down the rabbit hole because I put him on the dang thumbnail. We're going to talk about NXT. Obafemi is an absolute unit. It doesn't look like anybody could lace his boots at this moment on the NXT roster. It's going to be a cheap heel victor. I mean, he's a heel. I don't understand how you're going to get the belt off of him. It's a North American championship. Can you realistically build? Wes Lee is really probable, but he's doing that thing with the damn Rascals. So I don't know what you do to get the belt off of Obafemi. I really have no idea.
Yeah, but I said the same thing with Keith Lee when he became the NXT champion. And on a side note, man, Keith, how far has Keith Lee fallen? I mean, he was at the peak. He was a potential feud with Brock Lesnar, but it's just fallen apart mainly due to health reasons because he had a bad batch of COVID. But Obafemi is the best thing I can remember since Keith Lee is a big brute who's dominating the way he is. Oh, he's great. And if Mr. Femi's watching this right now, dude, you have been amazing so far.
Yeah, nothing short of phenomenal. And you touched on it a little bit, Bernard, and not just this week. You mentioned it last week too. Something I think is slept on. The
Okay.
women's division in NXT is so dang good because because of what I talk about is the problem on the main roster. You don't have that problem in NXT. Top to bottom, everybody is good. Everybody fits in a spot and they have a role. And I don't see a lot of crazy botches from NXT. Yes, they're inexperienced, they happen. But compared to the men, I don't really see that big a difference in the in-ring performance. I really don't. As opposed to the main roster, you have the top, the women we talk about all the time, and then the women we don't want to talk about. And respectfully, it's just they're just not, whether they're not giving the runway to do what they need to do or they're just not rising to the occasion. I don't know. I don't know how it works back there. I'm not going to comment on that. But in NXT, Shawn Michaels he's letting the dogs off the leash. This man is pointing people in directions and saying, "Go there." He's like, your destination's over here. Get there however you want. Get better through that destination. Do whatever you want. And a lot of people are rising to the occasion because WWE does a great job of scouting talent. They really do, and their developmental program is great. And sometimes things slide through the cracks. Don't come at me, Chad. I understand not everybody's perfect, but let's be honest. NXT is as good now as it was when you had the Undisputed Era running around when Finn Balor was champion. Then times like that, the Black and Gold Era.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I still think the Black and Gold era was a little bit better than this. By the way, NXT now compared to a year ago when it was the rainbow colored NXT, so much better. So
The
much
branding,
better.
yeah. The talent was better, though. That was the worst part about it. Vince hated NXT, so he made it all rainbow and stupid. But you had Braun Breaker walking around with a rainbow title. Are you sure?
Yeah, dude, Vince. This was the same guy who wanted to make Von Wagner into his next main eventer. He legitimately wanted. You don't remember Von Wagner? He was part of NXT.
No, I do. Yeah, I do.
By the way, no offense to Von Wagner, but Von Wagner is terrible. He was awful when he was a part of NXT's crew, and I mean it's crazy. And by the way, the rainbow rebranding, you're really trying to steal from Dynamite, like really? Yeah, like you're trying to steal the way Dynamite branded themselves at that time. Like, come on.
Yeah, that was a driving force as well. Vince didn't care if NXT lived or died,
No,
and that was a point the finger at AEW,
he did
saying
the same
this
thing with
rainbow show will
ECW.
be better than your rainbow show.
He did the same thing with ECW.
Yeah,
Remember the first
he pushed that
episode
right
on
in the ground.
Sci-Fi? The first episode on Sci-Fi, he thought, hey, you remember the Zombie versus Sandman? That it was originally going to be a Martian versus Sandman, and Paul Heyman, realizing this is a stupid idea, decides to change it up last minute into a zombie.
Thank God for Paul Heyman. Yeah,
Heck yeah.
I mean, NXT is great. If you got the extra time on a Tuesday night, go watch it. If you don't have time on a Tuesday, it's on Hulu. Check it out.
No, it's on the CW network soon. It's going to be moving
Yeah.
to the CW network. I do want to ask one thing since we're talking about NXT. Do you guys believe in Joe Hendry?
Of course.
You know, you want my honest opinion? That guy just straight up just makes me laugh every time I see him. And then it's like the way he does this, like oh my goodness, dude! Like, come on, man! Like, I guess he's talented, but I guess I'm not feeling the gimmick too much. Then we know what's messed up about it. I sang that song while I was at work this morning. So I believe in Joe Hendry. I like, wait a minute, what am I saying?
All the time. I find myself just clapping. I'll be like,
bro, he's legit the best part of Impact, and they're straight up giving him to NXT thanks to their partnership. Like, this is how incompetent TNA is since they released Scott D'Amore. And like, they decided in this partnership with NXT, which, by the way, they get no benefit from this partnership. Like, I cannot name one WWE wrestler that showed up on TNA that was even employed with WWE at the moment. Like,
Naomi did.
Like, well, Naomi did, but like this
some NXT guys did too.
Yeah, but like, what does TNA benefit from? They're basically giving all their talent to WWE. Like, Jordan Grace is for sure gone. Joe Hendry and his contract's for sure gone, and he's the best part of NXT. He's the most overact in that promotion or that brand. Like, it's crazy. And Jonathan Gresham for sure. Once Jordan Grace goes to WWE, because that's a lock. Jonathan Gresham will go there. Like, I don't see how this benefits TNA except for it gets their name out. Good, great job. Good, you've been a company like this. TNA is. They're not Billy Corgan NWA level of incompetent, but they're like second place level incompetent, if you know what I mean.
Right. So for Monday Night Raw, I mean, Bernard did touch on it a little bit there. What a start to the show. Rhea Ripley comes out dropping absolute bombs on Dominic Mysterio's dome, says his manlyhood couldn't do the job, and said his attempts at the backstabbing weren't deep enough. Also referencing said manlyhood. It was just not good time for Dominic Mysterio, saying he wasn't a man and couldn't do anything on his own. Now is being taken care of by Liv. Also true. He's not a man. I tweeted it. He's not acted like a man this entire time. He's acted like a 13-year-old boy. And he's living every 13-year-old boy's dream, though, is he not? Like, but let's not get caught in the weeds of that. We've talked about that before, previous episodes. Go check out the VOD on YouTube if you missed it. Anyway, so that was awesome. Rhea's dropping bombs. Liv and Dom try to respond, and it just fell absolutely flat. No one cared a word about what they said. And then Rhea said, well, Liv, I'm glad you were talking so much because the sound of your voice let us know exactly where you are. And I'm not going to lie to anybody in chat. I was like, who's she talking about? Us. She was by herself. I wasn't even thinking. And that means Dom and Liv certainly weren't thinking, because my brain works better than theirs 80% of the time. Respectfully, I love you guys. I'm just shitting. But I was even confused. Rhea caught me off guard. And then Damian Priest pulled the Undertaker AJ Styles, said, I'm about to get your ass. And then it spilled out into the concession area. I absolutely loved every single thing about it. And then the cherry on top, Dom didn't get hit with the riptide. Liv saved him. The crowd boos. Everybody's so upset. Ultimate heel move. There was nothing wrong with that segment. I loved everything about it. Best start to Monday Night Raw I can remember in recent history. Not ever. I'm not an absolute psychopath, but in recent memory, that's the best opening we've had in a long time. Bernard, my man, how did you feel about this wonderful start to our flagship show, Monday Night Raw?
Man, I was in awe, man. Shake, I was in awe. when Rhea Ripley dropped that bomb, it's like I can tell what's going to happen or what's going to be said before, it's being said or done and all. And when Rhea Ripley did that, it's like I nearly jump out. I nearly jump out of bed. Just said, holy shit! I said Rhea dropping bomb, and then it's like I know it's like it to me. It's kind of like the spot where not Rhea, with Liv. Oh shoot! Sorry about that. When Liv and Dom was right, in the stands and all. It's like something tell me like Damien was right there. I just something could have tell me that. Something tell me that. So when Rhea said, good thing, you didn't run your mouth because you know exactly where you are. And it's like I said, oh, Damian Priest. Because I was like, well, where Damian Priest is, like, why Damian Priest not going to ring? He went right behind him. So I thought the whole thing, the whole segment was awesome. I don't know if y'all saw this the backstage segment when Liv was hauling ass away from Rhea Ripley. That
Yes.
shit was funny as hell.
Yeah,
That
God,
was great.
I was laughing. I've never laughed that hard someone running since Mark Henry tried running after the Nexus and he was way ahead.
Like, wow.
Remember?
Yes. Yeah, it's like that. That was so funny. It's like it reminds me of, the Road Runner and the Coyote off of Looney Tunes and all. And it's like
Yeah,
Liv
yeah.
Morgan was the damn Road Runner, like beep beep. Like that shit was funny. But it was a great way to start off Monday Night Raw. And then like I said, with the Drew McIntyre situation and all, it was awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this Bash in Berlin match with mixed tag match. With Dom and Liv versus Rhea and Priest. And hey, who knows? I'm just throwing it out there. WWE should look at it. You want to create more titles, create mixed tag team championships.
I don't know if they're gonna do that. There's way too many titles and WWE, and not as much as AEW. AEW has way too many, but
Damn.
I don't know if they're gonna do the mixed, because remember they tried the mixed challenge, remember, all those years ago when it was like the something mixed tag challenge. It was botched because they had Asuka in an undefeated streak with the Miz, and they had to have Asuka win it to keep kayfabe up. But anyway, I'm getting off trap. I'm getting off the road here, but I loved this opening a lot. First off, Damian Priest is excellent with how he wants to go after anybody. And I'm glad there was a story too that when Edge broke apart from the Judgment Day, he thought he was going to get released because he thought it was over for him. First off, Damian, you were always great. Like, even though you were doing those silly faces during the Vince era, which was a ton of nonsense, besides that, you were great in everything. Like, you overthought that, dude. You're amazing. And like, that Bad Bunny match will forever be one of the best matches, like, in this new era for now. Like, it's not the best, but I love what this opening was, and we know what's going to happen here. What's going to happen is Rhea's going to hit the Riptide on Dominic, and that'll be the big pop. I don't know if it's going to happen at Bash at Berlin, because I think they're going to extend this feud a little longer with the entire New Judgment Day, and they better not give that silly nickname that was rumored. Please don't. But I don't. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think for sure the plan is going to be Dirty Dom and Liv Morgan versus Damian. I thought it was going to be Finn Balor and Liv Morgan, but I'm glad they're doing Dirty Dom and Liv Morgan versus Rhea and Damian Priest. But I love the way they're building this up. I love where they're going with this. And honestly, you could argue this or the Bloodline is the best thing going for WWE right now. Like, I hated the Liv stuff early on with Liv and Dominic. The explanation that Dominic gave, I thought was pretty solid. Like, you always treated me badly. You always treated me this, and Liv was the only one who treated him, quote unquote, nicely. I do quotes because she harassed him in the workplace, and that's still not cool. But I get his side of things, and I'm now drawn more into this than I was when Dirty Dom betrayed Rhea. So I like where they're going with this. Well done. You sold me on this feud.
Before you go shake, it's like I want to touch on something that I think one of you guys are said not long ago, saying how not Dane, how Dirty Dom was acting like a 13-year-old. Um, and like you say, I agree. You know, he's living what any 13 or 15-year-old boy wants to do, wrestle, which is good. But being that you now in the WWE, you know, you were you were tag team champions with your father. You break away from your father's footsteps, and you now were joined to Judgment Day. Now you went from Judgment Day to now you turn your back on Rhea. Now you won't live. I feel like at some point, and yes, even though you was North American champion, but I feel like at some point, I feel like you really have to man up, you know, because let's face it, when all this stuff's starting to wear down and wear out and all, it's like Liv's gonna get tired of you. And then what you gonna do now? You know, it's like you know, you in the WWE, that I think Michael Cole is irritated by him because the fact that he's not taking it as serious as he should be. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I just tell him what my eyes seeing is that, you know, he just to me, you know, he's having fun and he's having a great time, but you know, it's time to win some matches, man. It's time to get some checks and championships under your belt and in your bank account. Your
Listen,
thoughts?
I mean, you're not wrong. He hasn't won a title by himself. Like, he didn't win
Right,
the North American Championship by himself. The Judgment
right,
Day helped him.
Yes.
right.
Yeah, I mean, JC, there's a long list of folks that would love to be harassed by Liv. We've discussed that at
Oh
length.
man.
You know,
Albert
put me
Arcee's
on there. You know, why not? You know, might as well. At 15-year-old, you'd still want Liv to rap. I mean, it might be worse at 15 years old. Well, let's not get caught in those weeds, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's end this conversation before we get canceled, gentlemen.
So what we can do is touch on something we did talk about a couple weeks ago that
Mm-hmm.
has cemented itself. And the Nardog pointed it out first. Was the first one to really mention it. Xavier Woods not feeling Odyssey Jones. Looking a little grumpy, little sand in his trousers, not feeling too good about the new guy because I think he feels like Kofi's trying to replace Big E. And I think that rubs him the wrong way. And I think that's going to go to something at Bad Blood. Gentlemen, how we feeling about it?
Well, hey, like you said, I was right all along. It's like this right here. It's like picture yourself, okay, you're the only kid in the house or you know, everything, you know, belongs to you and everything. And then next you know, mom and dad says, well, here's your little sister, here's your little brother, you got to share your toys, you got to share this. It's like you're gonna feel some type of way. That's what Xavier's feeling. Like you said, Shay. Um, he feels that Kofi's trying to replace Odyssey with Big E. Um, to me, I just don't see it, but who knows? I may change my mind maybe down a couple of weeks down the line, but Xavier Woods is not feeling it. He's not feeling it. When he first you know, burst on the scene, it's like he was like what happened? Like he looked like, well, how long did you know Odyssey Jones? Like, why didn't you, you know, inform me on this? So why you didn't do this? So it's like, you know, Xavier feels some type of way about it. And um they're supposed to be in a 6-man tag next week. I believe either next Monday or the Monday after next. I think Xavier was just going to say, you know what, fuck it, turn heel. You know what? How you going to replace, you know, Big E? You know, it's like you're supposed to be me and you. You know, that's what he was going on with this. So, Xavier, I think it's time's up for the Judgment Day anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
yeah,
your thoughts, Nicholas?
Listen, really quick before I pass it to Nicholas. I mean, you're 100% right. It may be just time, and you know, Nicholas, how do you feel? It's been building for a little while. Is it time for the New Day? And is this is just something that popped into my head? Is this heel turn Xavier Woods' last chance at something legitimate outside of the New Day?
My advice to him: don't join the Final Testament. That group is DEAD dead.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. First off, I don't care how the story goes. I'm just glad Odyssey Jones is being used. It's been 2 years since he's been wasted on this main roster, and now he's getting used. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
I think a heel turn would be right for Xavier Woods. I mean, this could be his last chance to actually get some type of title.
Right.
I can't even remember if he's held a singles title. I might be wrong there, but I don't think
He is not.
Yes, but this is a much needed change because I doubt Big E's returning ever again with his neck issue,
Sadly.
and that sucks.
Yeah.
Odyssey Jones finally being used is key for me here. That's the one I could care less about this angle before until Odyssey Jones joined in. Once he joined in, I'm like, oh, now I'm interested in this.
Yeah.
But my advice to Xavier Woods, like I said earlier, don't join the Final Testament. God,
Like,
what a waste of Karrion Kross. I love Karrion Kross, the person. He seems like a nice guy. But they've really dropped the ball on his return. They really have.
Has not been great. And, not too much time here, gentlemen. We still have to have the final verdicts on SmackDown versus Raw, what has become a generational question. But before we get there, we talk about non-title feuds. This one's still cooking hot and heavy. Drew McIntyre, CM Punk. And boy, the Scottish Warrior took a whooping, didn't he? My God, CM Punk took him behind the woodshed and worked him like an old dog. My goodness, beat the hell out of him. And it was, I don't know, there's been whispers. The streets are whispering. They're asking, maybe we get a strap match. We haven't had a strap match in WWE. And if it happens at Bash in Berlin, maybe they save a payoff match for Bad Blood, Hell in a Cell. Don't know. But I'll tell you what, those two connected together for an entire match and they are forced to beat the hell out of each other. Sign me up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Front row.
One thing I want to say too, if it does go in a strap match, please don't do the nonsense touch every corner that they did back in the day.
Yeah.
It was so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta look this up on Bing. But when was the last time WWE had a strap match? I can't. The one that comes to mind last was JTG and Shad, but I can't remember the last time that they had a strap match.
I couldn't tell you.
Like
Roman Reigns and Jey Uso maybe in the Hell in a Cell in the strap match. I think they were tied together. I don't know.
That was an I Quit match.
Okay. Yeah, it was
an I Quit match inside Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, but
Thunderdome. Woo.
Yes. Anyone in the comments can, if they have the answer to that, I'll give you kudos because I can't remember. Point is, I can't remember the last time they did a strap match.
Yeah.
And
it's been a while.
It's been a while, and I'm stunned they didn't use it with Roman Reigns once during when they tried to, and they do it for Roman's side where they tried pushing him down our throats. And
I mean, you wanted to protect him. I think putting me in the strap match is a weird situation. I'm not too surprised.
Yeah, that's true. But point is, I want to see the strap match stipulation in this. They're teasing it. I think it's what's going to happen. It's probably going to end in a CM Punk win because they're going to go 1-for-1, and then they're going to conclude with the third match.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm open to it. I think it's going to be cool. But man, Drew took so many hits with the strap.
That was not great.
It was not. It reminded me so much. I think it was when Sheamus. I think it was it was either a kendo stick or. And he had that. Maybe it was a Gunther chop. I can't remember.
It was both, actually.
It was both. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was the last time where it was like, ugh,
Yeah.
It felt painful.
Nard Dog.
Yeah, I'm open to it.
How do you feel about this one, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm down for it. I'm pretty sure it's gonna come in. Let's just say the way I brought that up and the way how I picture him, Drew McIntyre getting his ass whooped across his back with that belt, kind of makes my back itching right now. Oh my goodness! Yeah. But I'm up for it. I'm up for it. Like I said, this feud is personal. More like it's beyond personal. I'm up for it, and I think it's going to end at Bad Blood in a Hell in a Cell match. Which I got to go see. I'm trying to get my tickets now, but I'm digging it. I'm in love. Like I said, that's one of the best storylines going on Raw right now. Drew
Mhm.
McIntyre got the bracelet with AJ Lee and his dog Larry, and gloating about it. CM Punk taking it even more personal now. He said it's not about the bracelet. He said it's the context Drew McIntyre use it in, and that's what fuel CM Punk, I guess, to did what he did. So I'm up for it. I like it.
I
But
did too.
yeah, by the way, I want to correct myself. The last strap match was between Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross. That was and JC just mentioned
There
it.
it
That
is.
was in Extreme Rules, and the next one as well. And I can't believe I forgot it was a strap match, but the match was so good that it didn't need to be a strap match. The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan. That was also a strap match. So
Oh
my
yeah,
apologies for being wrong. But again, it's been 2 years since we last had a strap match, so
yeah.
we're due for one.
Yeah,
Like, we're
it's
due
Mhm.
for
definitely
one.
time. And speaking of time, chat, viewers, everybody hanging out, thank you for staying the whole time. Gentlemen, no more avoiding it. It's time to answer the question. Since WrestleMania, which show are you rocking with? You can only watch one for the rest of the year until next WrestleMania. SmackDown or Raw, Nard Dog, what are you picking?
Uh, hmm. I gotta go with SmackDown. On this one, with the Bloodline, Roman Reigns. Raw was pretty good, but with the story, like I said, with the storyline, with the Bloodline, like I said, best story in the wrestling. You got Roman Reigns coming back. You got Nia Jax champion. You got like I said, Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. I say SmackDown has the edge a little bit over Raw right now.
Yeah, and I want to throw you stole my words from me, Bernard, but I want to also throw in for SmackDown. It's 2 hours compared to 3 hours. Like I like Raw, but like 3 hours is way too long. I wish they could just take an hour away from it, but I doubt that happens because I think that Raw is going to be moving to Netflix soon, and
Yep.
they have like a whole deal there. And I don't think 3 hours is going to go away. Just don't extend SmackDown to 3 hours because 3 hours is too long. 2 hours is
Well,
good.
I mean, you might get 2 hours though, right? Because without commercials, how long is Raw really? You know what I mean? It's like an hour and a half to. It's probably closer to 2 hours, 2 hours 15 minutes. So it might be in that ballpark. But gentlemen, I have to humbly and respectfully disagree with both of you.
That's fine.
I really do. I just think there's so much chaos in Monday Night Raw, and I think that roster is perfectly built to thrive in the chaos. You have the Judgment Day crumbling, and I honestly didn't know how it was going to go off the back of it. This is better than I ever would have expected. It's better than anything in this position on the show that SmackDown's presenting. It's not necessarily in the main event right now because the championship isn't involved. And it's just, I think it is so good. And we talk about the what's the word I want to use? I'll go with peak. The peak of non-title feuds is on Monday Night Raw right now. Drew
That I can't
McIntyre
agree
and
with you on.
CM Punk. And then when that's done, eventually Seth Rollins is going to come back. And then we're going to get Seth Rollins and CM Punk again without a championship. And then you have the ring general, the next great world champion in WWE, not going to reach Roman levels. Respectfully, I don't think he should. I think Roman should be on a level on his own. But he is going to be the guy that comes the closest to this for a very, very long time. And I am here for all of it. And it seems like it's a little bit easier to build superstars to get to him as opposed to SmackDown, where Cody Rhodes, you're like, well, it's all going to be jobbers and people no one cares about. And Kevin Owens, who wasn't involved in the title picture except for helping Cody, now is a title shot that no one really cares about besides the fact that he's Kevin Owens. And it's going to be like that month after month after month until The Rock comes back and, oh, Cody versus Rock. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to love it. But let's be honest. If it weren't for The Rock and Roman, are we caring about Cody's title reign? I love you. You're a super face. You're amazing for this company. But would we care about it? Nah. We'd still love Cody because we love Cody. But would we care about it? Nah. We care infinitely more about Gunther, and he hasn't even defended the damn thing yet. And that's just the damn truth. Okay? I'm just being honest about it. And there's so much more potential on Raw, in my opinion, than there is on SmackDown. You got the New Day stuff going on as well. You got Braun Breaker, who's going to be another great Intercontinental Champion. I said throw him in the Hall of Fame before he even won the dang thing. And so I just think there's so much more going on Monday Night Raw. And I think SmackDown can get there. I really do. I think LA Knight is a shot in the arm. That's going to be awesome. The tag belts are in a weird spot. I love that Finn and JD have the tag belts on Raw. I'd like them to hold those for a little while. SmackDown, you can't let the Bloodline hold those damn things if they can't hold them right. That's just a rule, in my opinion. Yeah. So that's how we go, chat. That's how we roll. Appreciate everybody that was hanging out. You guys were crazy tonight in chat. Didn't pass yet. But we're expecting his passing soon. It seems he is battling Alpha Anoa'i, very, very sick. Hasn't gone yet, but we are expecting his passing. But great show, gentlemen. Nicholas and Bernard, they chose SmackDown. I chose Raw. I've been a Monday Night Raw kid ever since I saw John Cena drafted when I was 9 years old. It was over for me, and I'll never betray them.
Are you sure you saw him though? Because I didn't see him get drafted.
See, I have this thing in my eye. He's my goat, and so I can see him. I am one of the few. I don't have the Cena blinders.
Well, I can't. And even in apparently he's in a few movies. I can't see him. He's in TV series. I can't see him. Yeah. TVs, commercials. It's crazy. He's done all this stuff, and we can't even see him. You know.
Yeah. Speaking of seeing him. Let me speak to him, but like shaking me. Let's go back to Raw. Like I said, Raw, but what about SmackDown? Like, so you got the Bloodline going on situation. You got Tiffany Stratton, who possibly might turn on Nia Jax tomorrow.
In a terrible feud with Nia Jax because she stinks.
Yeah. I mean, you got that going on. Then you got Bayley in the mix. Then don't forget you got Blair Davenport. You got the Women's Tag Team Championship. You got Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair going on. Carmelo Hayes, Andrade. All that going on too. LA Knight. And that's not to mention when Cena does come back, does he go to SmackDown? Does he go after Cody Rhodes in the WWE Championships, or he go to Raw and go chase after Gunther's World Heavyweight Championship? Who knows? But hey, SmackDown is on fire too, and let's not forget NXT, where you got Trick Williams, Roxanne Perez, Lola Vice, and not to mention you got two women coming to the NXT, and Julia and Stephanie Vega. They about to have something to say about her title win as well.
Hey, listen.
Who are you more hyped for, Julia or Stephanie?
I think.
Who?
Go ahead. I think I got Julia just a little bit because I think she's going to.
This is like a horrible time to start this conversation, gentlemen. We're going to table the Julia and Stephanie conversation next week. We can get right into that. Ain't no problem with it when we got time for it, and we definitely got time next week.
Where's the to be continued button on here? We need that pressed immediately.
every single week we'll have time to get into more stuff. Excellent conversation this week. And listen, if you enjoyed us at Bash in Berlin in a couple of weeks, we're going to be hanging out right where we are right now, reacting live. So feel free to come hang out with us. Tell your friend about it. React and chat with us. We want you going as crazy as we do, because I'm going to be honest, I scream and yell. I be reacting like a crazy man. But hey, we appreciate you guys hanging out. We love you so much. For more content, make sure to subscribe, like Stadium Rant's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you got to do. Make sure to follow us and go check out some pretty cool articles on StadiumRant.com as well. Until next week, it's all good vibes, baby. Have a good night.
Acknowledge us.